as we mentioned at the top of the call, Houston's kicker Kyle Bullard is the American Athletic Conference Special Teams Player of the Week. Coach, thank you for joining us on the call today. If you would take a minute to talk about the game against UCF, maybe a word or two about Kyle's performance in that game and this season, and maybe what you expect to see as you hit the road to face Memphis Saturday, please.
Well, looking back at the Central Florida game, certainly a disappointing loss, and had a number of chances. We felt like after looking at the video to change the outcome, put Greg Ward in at quarterback there in the third quarter, kept him in, gave us a spark, led us on some scoring drives, and tried to make a play at the end to win the football game for us. So proud of Kyle Bullard's performance. Again, he's originally a walk-on into our program, and saw where he's made 18 consecutive field goals dating back to last season. So proud of his work ethic, and he's a junior and certainly very confident right now striking the football. Moving forward, got a big challenge this week going on the road and going to play a team in Memphis right now that's playing extremely well on all three sides of the ball. They're not turning the ball over. They're playing very aggressive and defensively. Paxton Lynch is a sophomore quarterback for them that's noticeably improved from last year, and really throws the ball extremely well, and they're very, very balanced. They run it efficiently and throw it extremely well also. And I think they're one of the better teams in the kicking game we'll play. So be a great challenge for us. We got to regroup. A lot of football ahead, and look forward to the challenge Saturday night.
Any questions for Coach Tony Levine, please hit *1 on your telephone to join the queue. The operator will introduce you.
We'll go to Joseph Durrett with the Houston Chronicle.
Hey, good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Joseph.
Hey, I was wondering, on Greg, can you just kind of, do you have any stories or just anything about him that when you met him, just the kind of, process of the recruiting was for him in terms of what you guys saw on tape or in person when you would go watch him play that made him such a valuable, I guess, prospect during y'all's recruiting process?
Well, a couple of things, dating back a couple of years in recruiting Greg. We had him at one of our high school camps the summer going into his senior year. We had offered him a scholarship, and a lot of debate within our program as to what we were recruiting him as, whether it was a quarterback or an athlete, meaning a receiver or defensive back. Ultimately, we actually ended up in our communication with Greg saying we were going to recruit you as a corner, which on the defensive side of the ball. And as we went through the 2012 season and he was committed to us, we had further conversations with him, and he wanted an opportunity to try quarterback. And so when he got here, we gave him that opportunity. But more than anything, when people ask me, what do you remember from Greg Ward in high school, it was that he was a winner.
Thank you.
And we'll go next to Phil Stukenborg with Memphis Commercial Appeal.
Tony, how are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Good. A little bit more on Greg Ward. When you see what he brings to the table, you said when you had further communication you want to play quarterback, but what have you seen in him in that role?
Well, we've seen a number of things, and again, most recently, him kind of giving us a spark and leading us on some scoring drives in our game against UCF last Thursday night. So he's very intelligent. He's a competitor. He's obviously versatile in that he's been starting for us at receiver, but again, he's been in the quarterback meetings all season and has been taking reps at quarterback in practice. So, we're confident in Greg. I think his teammates are confident in him as well, and based on what he did Thursday night, we're going to give him this opportunity.
When you talk about the Memphis quarterback, you obviously got to see him play a year ago down at soccer stadium there. Talk about what you see in terms of his improvement. You say he's playing a little bit better this year.
Well, I think, and I don't want to. I thought of this when I said it earlier. That's not like he played poorly last season, but he was a redshirt freshman last year, and I think the way Memphis is taking care of the football, the decisions he's making in terms of where to go with it, he's doing an outstanding job, and I think the play they're getting out of him. Right now, among other things, again, they're playing great on defense. They're taking the ball away on defense. They're playing very well in the kicking game, which they always do. But they're being efficient with the football. They're balanced on offense, and I think Coach Fuente is doing a great job in that respect. But I think they're balanced, and I think it starts with the play of Paxton. He's doing a great job. He is accurate. And his decision-making, I think, has been outstanding thus far.
Thank you.
And we'll go next to Joey Knight with the Tampa Bay Times.
Coach, obviously, the quarterback position is the subject of a lot of focus, but just in terms of the drop passes the other night, was that about as frustrating a night as you've had as a coach?
Yes, I mean, in terms of drop passes, it was, and you can't say one was bigger than another. We had drop passes down the field that would have given us a first down, and we had drop passes that would have gained us 4 yards, and they're all impactful. So, I mentioned this in an interview last night. I mean, we certainly don't rely on just our receivers and running backs catching enough balls over the course of an hour and 45-minute practice. They're constantly getting out early or staying after and catching additional balls in what we call the jugs machine, and I think it was a combination of a number of things the other night, and again, it certainly had an impact on the outcome of last Thursday night's game.
We'll go next to Dan Tator with Dan Tator Broadcast Media.
Hi, Coach. How you doing today?
Doing great. How are you?
Good. I know you talked a lot about the offense, but defensively for Houston, where do you feel you're at going into this game on the road against Memphis as far as leadership, guys stepping up, things that you need to kind of carry into this next matchup? Where can you say the defense is really playing for you right now?
Well, I think our defense has been very consistent, and last week we were only able to create one turnover, and some of that had to do with us playing from behind for a couple of quarters of that game, but again, I think in terms of our scoring defense, our total defense, and for the most part taking the football away, they've done an outstanding job this year. I think we're a very good tackling team defensively. And, again, it's been really a trademark of our program defensively over the course of the last 2 years in terms of playing well and creating turnovers.
Then as far as, I know you talked about receiving and drop balls a little bit in the last game, but with the guys that you have, with Spencer and the rest of the receivers that are on the team, what can you say about leadership or guys stepping up? I mean, addressing issues. Obviously, with drop passes, you can't go back in time, but have you seen a change since then in some of these guys and how they're approaching it, even though you're at the midpoint of the season?
In terms of receivers and the drop balls or leadership overall?
As far as leadership overall and how they handle issues like that going into the midpoint of the season and obviously in conference play.
Right. Well, we've got tremendous leadership in our program. And we've got student athletes that have made those catches before. So, I guess there's some coaches that when a young man drops a ball, they're going to take him out of the game. And we've got confidence in our young man. We've seen him make these plays before. We got to go back to him. Deontay Greenberry dropped a number of passes early on in this last game. We get the ball back in the fourth quarter with a chance to go try to win the football game, and it's third and long. We throw him a ball over the middle down the field. He makes a tremendous catch for us. So, we've got faith in them. If a young man's struggling catching the football, I can tell you certainly his teammates have confidence and faith in him as well. We're going to continue to try to correct any mistakes we make, but we're going to try to get the ball in the hands of young men that can make plays for us and continue to show confidence in them.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Get one more in for Coach Levine, please.
We'll go last to Gary Smith with the New Orleans Advocate.
Hi, Coach. With the obvious exception of East Carolina, the league didn't have a lot of success in non-conference games in September. East Carolina has an experienced veteran quarterback, and there aren't a lot of those in the league. Can you put anything in particular you've seen that accounted for some of the struggles, including yours in September?
No, I can't. I think you make an interesting point when you said East Carolina's got an experienced veteran quarterback, and he's played in for them. I'm just guessing. I don't have it in front of me, but probably somewhere close to 35 games, somewhere in the 30s in his career there. So they're doing a great job, but when you ask if I can put a finger on it, no, I cannot.
And for you, what obviously you guys had the tough opener and couldn't quite get the win against BYU, but what have been the major factors for your slow start out of conference this year?
Well, I think a number of things. I think turnover margin. That's what really doomed us in the first game as much as anything. We were -5, and really in my account -6 with a punt snap we dropped and recovered near our own goal line. And BYU with Taysom Hill at their home opener, we lost by 8 points, and I thought came back, got in a hole early, and beat a UNLV team a couple weeks ago by 33 points, and so again, I mean it comes down to football. It comes down to execution, winning the turnover margin, and regardless of who you play, I think most coaches would tell you that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach, we thank you for your time today. We look forward to talking to you again next Monday.
Likewise. Thank you.